Welcome to Silver Bar Stacker, folks. I hope everybody's doing well and enjoying their Sunday. That's right, folks. Today's Sunday, and here at SBS, that means that today we've got an SBS drop. But before we get into the details about today's drop, we had a couple orders of business to take care of. Now, today's topic and today's drop is actually going to be based off of one of our favorite refiners to collect pieces from, and that refiner is actually one of the most widely known refiners today. That refiner that I'm speaking about is called Sunshine Mint, and so Sunshine Minting is actually one of the leading domestic and global suppliers of precious metals and base metals here in the United States and in the world, and so they're one of the most recognizable names. Sunshine Mint is a company that probably everybody has heard of, and if not, then it's very possible that you have some Sunshine Mint products here in your stack. They make some of the most easily accessible generic bullion out there. They even provide planchets to the U.S. Mint, from my understanding, and so they're a very, very big operation, Sunshine Minting. However, when it comes down to the past and the history and the legacy behind Sunshine Minting, and when it comes down to the more collectible pieces, when it comes down to Sunshine Minting, I said before that Sunshine Minting is more kind of your run-of-the-mill generic pieces, and that's true. But Silverstruck, one of my good friends here on YouTube, has made a very, very important distinction between Sunshine Minting and the vintage Sunshine Minting pieces, which can clearly be identified as Sunshine Mining pieces. And so that T in minting makes a huge difference, right? We're talking about the difference between vintage, decades-old pieces versus modern, current generic pieces. So Sunshine Minting with a T is going to be kind of your more generic pieces, and you should be able to expect to get those pieces for just a couple bucks above spot. And now when we remove that T from the word minting and we now talk about Sunshine Mining, well, now folks, that's going to be our Sunshine Mining Company vintage pieces. Okay, so right here on this bar here, this art bar here, you'll see it doesn't say Sunshine Minting, it says Sunshine Mining. Okay, so this is a nice little art bar. It's a 2,000 grains, I believe that's 4.2 ounces if I'm not mistaken, struck especially for the Sunshine Mine by the Franklin Mint. And so Poor Man's Gold, when I first brought out this piece, Poor Man's Gold made a very, very important observation that, hey, look, this actually isn't a Sunshine Mining piece. It's a piece that was produced for Sunshine Mine by the Franklin Mint. So technically that would make this a Franklin Mint piece. Regardless, since I'm an avid Sunshine Mining collector, I had to pick up this art bar because I felt that it was very, very cool. And I thought that the odd weight of it was also very cool. 2,000 grains, 4.2 ounces, very, very cool odd weight bar there. Here's another very cool bar, and this one as well. Don't believe this one was actually produced by Sunshine Mining, but it's a very cool bar indeed. And this one right here is a 3-ounce machined bar, and if you actually look at the back here, check out this press bar, W.H. Foster. So this was actually distributed by W.H. Foster, Walla Walla, Washington, but it's marked with Sunshine Mining. So I'm a huge fan of these type of little art bars. So I had to pick up an example of each of these. I felt that they were very cool. So this is something that I just wanted to add to my Sunshine Mining collection. But what it really comes down to, when it comes down to Sunshine Mining products, when it comes down to the true vintage products, what I go really, really hard on and what I really, really love are the Sunshine Mining dated rounds, the Sunshine Mining bars. These are the things that really tickle my fancy, and these are the things that I'm an avid collector of, right? The same way that I'm a big fan of the Englehart Prospector dated rounds, I'm also a fan of the Sunshine Mining dated rounds, and I especially like picking up the Sunshine Mining dated rounds when I can find them in the original seal. Just like the American Prospectors, if I can find the American Prospectors or really any sort of a Englehart bar, Johnson Matthey bar in the original factory seal, I will definitely opt for the original factory seal, because that to me adds another layer of value. right? So now when we take a look at all of these rounds in front of us, we've got varying dates here, right? We've got everything down from 1980 over here all the way to these dates. These rounds go into the 90s, right? Now I don't have a 90s example, I don't think, in front of me here, but I've seen 1990, 1991 dated on these Sunshine Mining dated rounds. Now the earliest I'm able to find is this 1879 slash 1980. So this 1980 round is kind of the earliest I'm able to find. I don't see any Sunshine Mining rounds from the 70s. So my inkling is that maybe 1980 might be the first year that they created these rounds. And what's very interesting to note, and this is actually something I didn't fully realize until another collector had kind of brought it to my attention, but in 1982, if you look at the 1982 rounds, there's a big distinction between the 1982 and earlier rounds when compared to the 1983 and later rounds. And what that distinction is on the 1982 Sunshine Mining dated rounds, you'll actually find, and it's hard to see here with this original factory seal here, but if you actually look closely, you'll find that there's actually on the rim a serial number. And so again, you're not able to really see it in this light, but believe me when I say it right here, I'll read it off for you. This serial number right here is E4341. Okay, so this is a serialized round. The 1982s, I believe the 1981s are serialized, the 1980s are serialized, and in fact on the 1980s, what you'll notice is on the rim here, it'll note 7,482 of 25,000. So on the 82s, the 81s, they'll just provide a serial number. It'll be E number. On the 1980s, they literally tell you how many total rounds there are. There's 25,000 of these rounds here, and it gives me the exact number, the serial number on here. So I rarely, except maybe on perhaps some older Libertads or something, I rarely see a round that is serialized. And so for me, serialization is big, okay? When it comes to bars, one key thing that I love about most bars, when it comes to like Engelhard, Johnson Matthey bars, and I'm willing to pay a bigger premium for those over, let's say, like a Prospector round. The reason is because they're serialized. And so for me, that layer of value of serialization really provides a true layer of security there, because a serial number, why is somebody going to duplicate a serial number? That's a very, very difficult thing to repeat, and it's just an unnecessary burden to have to try to counterfeit that sort of a measure. So for me, I personally feel that serialization is very, very big, and I'm willing to pay a significant premium above the standard premium for serialization. And I think it's especially unique when a round in particular has serialization on it. So for me, the 1982, 1981, 1980 Sunshine Silver dated rounds are very, very, very collectible. I mean, for me personally, maybe the general populace, I don't think generally even is aware of the difference maybe between Sunshine Mining versus Sunshine Minting. I don't think there's a huge demand for Sunshine Mining products, but I think as more collectors start trying to learn the nuances behind these different refiners, they start to see, okay, there's different dates on these rounds. Maybe I'll start collecting, all the dates. Now I have, different types of bars available from Sunshine Mining that also has this eagle on it. And then you can kind of go down a rabbit hole, right? Because Sunshine Minting and Sunshine Mining both have larger bars as well. So you can grab some 10-ounce bars. Maybe you want to dabble with some 100-ounce bars. So there's a plethora of different products that you can go down the rabbit hole and collect by any refiner. But this video, I would say, is going to be focused here on the dated rounds and these bars. Now these bars, I've only been able to find one type of this eagle bar, and it just looks exactly like this. You've got the purity and the weight stamped there on the front with the eagle logo stamped on the front, and then on the back it just says Sunshine Bullion. So this is pretty cool. This reverse is reminiscent a little bit of another Sunshine Mining product that I collect. So in front of us you see a couple of bars, you see the dated rounds, you see some 1 ounce bars. I'm also a big fan of a very quirky and obscure piece or set of pieces that Sunshine Mining also produced, which is also a vintage product, and that would be the Coors Light themed bars. I find these to be very funny, and I kind of obsess over them a little bit, and so I've kind of also gone down a rabbit hole of collecting some Coors Light pieces as well. So let's go ahead and take a look and take a quick gander at this, and maybe we can save a different video for doing a deeper dive on the Coors Light products. So here we have some many 1 ounce bars, and in fact we've even got some larger bars in here as well. The Coors Light bars actually came in a 5 ounce variety as well, and I think I've got some 10 ounce varieties in here as well. Yeah, there's also a 10 ounce variety of this Coors Light bar, which is pretty cool. 10 troy ounces, the Silver Bullet, Sunshine Mining Company. Notice how it says Mining Company. So I found that to be pretty cool. Look at this toner. Woo-wee. So Coors Light, let me show you the examples here, but when it comes down to this Coors Light bars, you've got a couple variations of that. Now on the obverse it looks, wow, these are identical, right? But actually there's two variations of the Coors Light bars. Check it out. One says Sunshine Mining Company, and the other right here says 1 troy ounce, and it's actually dated. 999 fine silver, copyright SBC, that's Sunshine Bullion Company, 1987. So this is a 1987 dated Coors Light bar by Sunshine Mining, and this right here is just a normal Coors Light bar, Sunshine Mining. And then we've also got the 5 ounce, we got the 10 ounce variety. And so what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab one of these bars, Coors Light. I'm also gonna grab one of these serialized 1982 rounds. And these folks right here, these are gonna be guaranteed to go to 2 individuals who take part in this week's drop. And you know, it's been a while. It's honestly been quite a while since we've done one of those exciting drops that involves a random drawing. You know, we've kind of stopped doing that. That used to be the go-to methodology behind our drops when we used to do our drops. And the way that it would work would be that basically we would have a prize pool of items, and individuals who wanted to could opt into that drop, and there would be a couple grand prizes usually, and certain lucky individuals would be drawn from that prize pool and selected to be awarded those grand prizes. And so I think what we're going to do today, folks, is we're going to do exactly that. We've got a serialized 1982 round, we've got a Coors Light bar, highly collectible, and then the remaining items in the prize pool will be determined based off of how many individuals opt into this week's drop. Okay? So this week's drop is going to be variable with respect to how many items are in the prize pool. But one thing that's going to be for sure is that somebody's going home with the Coors Light bar, and somebody's going home with the serialized Sunshine Mining 1982 round. The remaining items are just going to be unserialized, dated Sunshine Mining rounds with a random date, right? So like you might just get a 1986, for example. Okay, so we're going to toss a bunch of unserialized dated rounds into the prize pool based off of how many people join, but the first 2 items added to the prize pool are going to be a Coors Light bar and a Sunshine Mining dated round 1982. Okay, so if there's only 2 people that join, for example, they're going to get these 2 items. They're going to be fighting between these 2 items. Okay, if only 1 person joins, I'm just going to toss these 2 items in the prize pool, and that person's going to end up with one or the other. Okay, now if we have 10 people in the prize pool, if this week's drop becomes a raging success and everybody wants to get involved, great. Let's say we get 10 people involved. Well, in that case, the prize pool is going to consist of 1 Coors Light bar, 1 1982 dated round, and then 8 additional unserialized dated rounds. Okay, so your chances kind of go lower to get one of these grand prizes the more people that opt into the drop. The fewer people that opt into the drop, the higher chances are of securing one of the grand prizes. Okay, now a little bit of ground rules before we get into this week's drop. I'm going to be limiting this week's drop to just one per person. I really want this to be a fair shot for everybody. I don't want somebody to come in and buy like 5 units so that they have an unfair chance of winning one of these grand prizes. It's going to be one per person, per household, per account. Okay, feel free to opt in. And if you're trying to stack a little bit heavier and you're kind of annoyed by the fact that I'm limiting you to this week's drop, that's okay, because I've got something fun for this week. What I'm going to actually do for every single person who opts into this week's drop for a chance to win these grand prizes, what I'm going to be doing is each and every single person that opts in is going to immediately get themselves a 10% off coupon that they can use for the rest of this week. Right? Because this is a live drawing that we're going to be doing for this drop. And so I'm not going to be choosing the winners until, heck, I'll let this thing run the entire week, and I won't choose the winners and do the drawing until next Sunday's video. How about that? Right? So you have all week to opt into this week's drop for a chance to win these Sunshine Mining products. There's no pressure, but if you're wanting to, it's better to act sooner rather than later, because then I'll right away give you that coupon code within 24 hours and you can go on a shopping spree and get yourself 10% off of everything or anything on the store that you've been itching to grab, and those coupons will be valid until next Sunday, right? So that way, you know, you're not sitting here twiddling your thumbs while we're trying to figure out which Sunshine Mining prize you're going to win. In the meantime, you can go on a shopping spree on the SBS website with that coupon code we provide you. And then on come Sunday, we'll meet here again, we'll do a drawing, and we'll figure out who's getting what, right? Each person that opts in is going to be assigned a random number, and we're going to do our typical SBS style random drawing for the SBS drop. So this was just a little bit of a breakdown on the Sunshine Mining products. I was kind of a little bit unorganized and I didn't have any structure to this sort of presentation. However, I hope you sort of learned a little bit new information about these rounds, especially this unique idea about the serialization on 1982 and earlier rounds. I found that to be very, very interesting, and I don't think maybe a lot of collectors don't know that, or perhaps a lot of collectors know that and they're trying to keep it hush and they don't want SBS spreading the good word about this news. Regardless, the news has been spread, and so if you're into these sort of quirky little collector quirks, feel free to opt into this week's drop for your chance to get some unique Sunshine Mining products. Cheers!